Chainlink Friday, going into the weekly close, going into the weekend. What do we need to be focusing on? I'm glad you asked. We're going to look at the daily chart first, then we'll zoom out to the weekly, see what's going on in the macro. Are we in trouble? Are we on the brink of major breakouts? I don't know. But we will look at what the charts say and take it from there. All right, $22, just above that for Link. All is well and good so far. So let's take a look at the facts in the chart. As we zoom in here, right, obvious downtrend. Nice little break above, right, as we tested multiple days down at this blue line. That's the 100-day EMA. That would be kind of the worst case, what we want to see now, because that would be a higher low. So if we move down lower again and breach all these moving averages, so far so good, right? If we put in a loose kind of support zone, see range highs back here over the past, several days. And then, way back in early September, about a month ago, right? We had our range lows. So ideally, we need to flip this to support, which we're doing today and yesterday. So far, so good. EMA 8, the red line is right there. $22. That's the ideal hold. Somewhere in this zone is still okay, right? If you can flip range highs to range lows, fine. If we break under that, then we're probably going right to the 100, where if you look back, way back, go back to all the way to August, you can see we held the blue 100 and the 200 right there. So that's what we would want to look for ideally. Otherwise, the downtrend continues. Obviously, if we take out this low, I don't foresee that happening. And you can see previous, again, range highs flip to new range lows. That's great. That needs to be our pivot low for the rest of the cycle, really. If we come down further, right, we need to be looking for a higher low. My guess would be the 100 if we come down and break under 22. That's, as of right now, it's 2068 at the blue 100 EMA. There or higher would be just fine. And we'd be building a base to, lunar launch hopefully later in this quarter. Bitcoin's doing what it needs to do. Bitcoin dominance, you can see at the top here, remaining relatively flat. That's going to help altcoins as soon as Bitcoin kind of chills a little bit. Bitcoin's just been on a rip. It's up, over $12,000 this week alone. Altcoins find it hard to struggle, or easy to struggle, hard to impress when Bitcoin's doing impressive things, right? So remain patient on your altcoins, Link included. The structure's getting built right before our very eyes. We're doing what we need to do. And until we breach this, we need to assume higher, right? Altcoins are on the precipice of something very big. Word of the day. So bullish case, we hold here and just continue on our merry way. And our next high zone target is pretty obvious as well. It's right around, $24.50 to $25. We have 3 highs there back from August, mid-September, and mid-September. So if we break higher, that's our next kind of pivot point. We might have a little bit of a hesitation right here. You can see all the way back there. You have a little bit of a hesitation, maybe around 2350 area, right? If we can break that, like away we go. Okay, so if we also look at the Gaussian channel here, you see we're, as of yesterday, we're just starting to flip more bullish by definition on the Gaussian. We broke above the median line there, and we closed above it. So ideally, if we could do that again, that median line is at 2244. We're at 2243. We're right on it. So that will remain fluorescent green if we start to close a bullish candle. Otherwise, right, it can be red and not fill in red, right? Bearish candles are when we go down and we're underneath the median part, right? They could still be kind of unfilled red, obviously, if it's just a bearish candle, but bullish momentum above the median Gaussian channel, right? On the daily, that's what you need to do, right? We've been just kind of in this epic downtrend. We've gotten into the channel. We're trying to work our way back out of it. It acts as kind of like tar pit. Just harder to get out once you're in there. So we're doing what we need to do. Maybe going into like the second, third week of October, we could be breaching through the upwards part, which again, it's our high target, right? The upper Gaussian channel is also right there at right around that high zone that we looked at, $24.50 to $25 area. That's the top of the Gaussian. All right, so a lot starts to go our way if we can do that. But we're doing what we need to do so far. We were just at $19, a week ago. Good move so far. All right, so let's move out to, let's say, the 3-day for Link and see what's going on there. Well, you can see multiple tests of this orange line, which was the EMA 34, which is also where we hit last time before continuing higher. History doesn't repeat, but it does often rhyme. First week of August, test the EMA 34 and bounce. Very big. Now, last week of September, hit the EMA 34 3 consecutive times and hold. Maybe this is the start of our bounce. But you can see we have an underside retest here. This is why we're probably struggling a little bit. And many altcoins are in this zone right now where they're looking like they want to go, but they're just kind of still trapped under the street here. We got to break through the manhole covers and get back out of it. And then we can worry about, climbing to the sky. But we've breached the 21. You can see the yellow line there. You're kind of playing on defense when we're there. So you can see previous range lows for weeks, really over a month. Now range highs. We don't want to hold this as resistance for too much longer, right? Another week, 2 weeks, so be it. But we don't want to reject here. I don't foresee that. I think we'll start to build. Ideally, again, if we can kind of start to get above 22, hold that as support, 23, start building off of that. There's not really a higher zone other than on the 3-day. As you zoom out here, it's just kind of cycle highs, like $25, $27. That's our next zone we're looking at, right? There's nothing else here. All right, great. We're above the Gaussian channel on the 3-day. Terrific, right? And if we zoom out enough, let's go like to the 5-day. We haven't checked the 5-day in a while. Well, look at the 5-day Gaussian channel. We went into a bullish flag formation here. We're still in it. At the top of the Gaussian channel, bouncing off the 21 EMA. And, the target for this is, pretty high here. Let's be conservative and let's take a measured move here. So if we get the potential target on a bull flag, how do we do this? Well, I like to be conservative and take it from the closes. Some people take wicks, but let's be super conservative and go straight down from the high to the low, right? The 30 pole here. And if you just copy and paste this, or you can just drag it, wherever you break out at, and then your high target, well, that's $46. Some people like to use the high. I tend to like to use the high because that kind of confirms the breakout, right? Still right in that wheelhouse, like $45, $50 is our general target. Doesn't necessarily, it has to mean the high, but if this confirms, if this does break out, that'd be pretty exciting, right? More than 2x away. It's shaping up to it, right? We still have our W pattern we're watching here. We have this little dip right there. Here's our W, right? We're mirror imaging that. That would still give us another couple of weeks going into the rest of October, really, to be back to, the $30 area. Now, if we're doing just that, and we start out in November at cycle highs, then we're getting ready to, nuke out of here. That could be really good, right? If we start to confirm this W pattern, we start to close above 29.50, which is our high close so far on a 5-day candle. Exciting times just ahead. So let's go out to the weekly. What do we need to watch for on the weekly close? Well, again, we're in bull flag formation here. Pretty great. All the while holding the top of the Gaussian channel. While wicking down to the 21 EMA, well, look back at the previous W, wicking down to the 21 EMA. We didn't get the hell out of there immediately. Spend another 2 or 3 weeks really kind of chopping around, right? If you want to mirror image that, we've been mirror imaging, right? As we said, even back here, you've been watching these Chainlink videos. Will we pause here? Of course. Will we wing down and then go up? Yep. Right? Mirror image? Yeah. Check. Could be a couple more weeks. It could be next week. Could be this week. But once we start to break above here, it's going to probably start getting much more exciting for Chainlink. Like, think back to last year for Chainlink when it went from $10 to $30. like in due process. What is that? 2 months? Not even 2 months, right? We could easily do that again over here. Nice little move. Let's see what that would look like. Just want to take a bars pattern here. If we do get it, in fact, get a breakout here and rhyme with this. Let's pretend, maybe it's next week. Who cares, right? Whenever it is. If we were to rhyme with that move, I mean, we could potentially see $60 still within the next 4 to 5 weeks, or whenever the hell that starts, right? Maybe that move doesn't start till the end of October. Maybe it doesn't start till $30, and then look how much higher we get. Maybe we come down a little bit more. Maybe we start, the last week of October, and we start from $20. That's still a rhyme with that gets us to mid 50s. That wasn't even like full-blown alt season. So this could be relatively conservative if we get time again. If we have a Q4 like we had last year, or maybe even better, then there you go, right? We're not making that up. There it is. We've already done that. They are who we thought they were. Okay, let's see what we got anything else for you. How about like a fib extension there? Well, remember our bars pattern we just did took us up to around the $60 area. Well, the 1618 is right there as well. We have the bull flag that we just looked at conservatively was 45 to 50, but if you take it from wick to wick here, then take it from like the breakout, well, that gets us right in that wheelhouse of around the $60. So you have a lot of confluence somewhere around the $50, $60 area for Link. So we can still have a potential 3x ahead of us in the next 3 months. I think that would be pretty a-okay. All right, what do you think? What are your thoughts? You getting the vibes? No vibes? You gotta have vibes. I mean, if you don't got the vibes, just open your eyes. You got blue flannel. You have blue cars, supercars. You have blue neon lights. What's not to like? How about supercars? Do we need that? All right, I'm glad you asked. How about our quote of the day? Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. Of course, being happy on a day-to-day basis, no matter what's going on, right? You can go to sadness, right? It's if someone dies, if you break your leg, right? You're allowed to be sad. You just got to come back from it. Staying in a position of negativity is the fastest way to go off the rails, right? Day-to-day happiness, right? Focus on what you're grateful for when you're upset. That helps a lot, right? All right. Car of the day, 1968 Ford Mustang. Pretty impressive. Just happened to scroll through and found this one. 325K sounds a little steep, but isn't that Eleanor from like Gone in 60 Seconds? I'm fairly confident in that. That's pretty great looking. Look at these brakes, Wildwood brakes, massive rotors, black on black. I would assume like air suspension here. This looks pretty aggressively low. Check out this engine though. Look how clean this engine is. Whew. That looks pretty nice. Full rebuild, restoration, perfect condition. All right, looks pretty good. There's the back. Pretty aggressive. If the Grim Reaper were to drive a car, how would it not be that? Have a great weekend.